Did you know that there are 9 different sports injury personas? And each one of those personas is a different type of person. They have a different type of injury that shows up, and there's a different purpose for each of those injuries. I'm going to unpack one of them today. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality. Find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. The start of the winter codes, and already a massive amount of injuries. I'm seeing it in the NRL, in the AFL, probably seeing it less in rugby union because I don't follow it as much, but I'm sure it's probably happening there as well. And it made me think of something I've been working on for a few years now, and that's the different types of sports injury personas there are. I've been helping people with their health for a long time. I've been helping them to remove old patterns that have been either causing injuries or illnesses or stopping things like injuries from healing or having repeated versions of injuries. From my own experience, I'd had these same injuries. I'd been repeating the same patterns. I'd been accepting that this is how it was always going to be, and I also had a whole lot of subconscious blocks that were going on. And what I learned, started to heal so many of those old injuries that were stopping me from doing things I wanted to, and then helping others, is that actually there are different personas, and I've found there's 9 of them, and I want to talk about one of them today. And this particular persona is the type of person that is generally really good at giving to others, at supporting everyone else. And they also put huge expectation on themselves, on the results that they get, and their part in helping other people to get great results, the responsibility they take for other people's success, for team success, for team happiness, for family, for their job, for all of it. So they put huge expectations on themselves. And so they also have a huge weight on their shoulders. They're carrying so much of a heavy load. I feel like it's all on their shoulders, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting feeling that pressure, and part of them loves it, and part of them is why they are high performing, but there's also part of them that just doesn't want to do it anymore. And the type of injuries that this sort of persona gets is feet or ankle injuries, support, back, shoulders, Achilles, those sort of key parts of our body that allow us, the feet, stand on our own 2 feet. Stability, those ankles, the Achilles is very much a huge supporter of our whole leg structure. The obvious back speaks it for itself. Shoulders are literally carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. These are the sort of injuries that they get, and they tend to get repeated versions of it. When it all gets too much, the injury comes. And I'm not saying that people deliberately get injured. It's a subconscious decision-making that results in the injury. From not trusting instincts to putting their body in a position where they shouldn't. There's a whole lot of depth to it, but when there's a subconscious belief around something, that the body will do its best to manifest whatever that underlying belief is. And when the pressure is getting too much, and that voice in their head starts to say, oh, I don't want this anymore, I can't do this anymore, it's all getting too much, then the injury comes. And I've seen it time again. And I remember Michael Clark when all those long time stars of Australian cricket stepped away and he was left to be captain of this young team. His back went. Exactly what I'm talking about. There's countless examples of this sort of persona getting injured. I see it at a local level. I see it and from a work perspective. I see it from a business perspective. I see it from a parenting perspective, and of course, like I said, a sports perspective. So the purpose of the injury is to release the pressure, to remove that pressure, to take them out of this space where they've got this huge expectation, because it can reach that point where I don't want to do this anymore. It removes that weight of expectation they're placing on themselves, and it removes that weight of the external expectation that they think is upon them. So if you think about that star player of a team, and that team might be a work perspective, the high performer, it could be an elite sporting team, and when the pressure gets too much and the weight of expectation gets too much of what they're seeing externally, and that because they're placing all that pressure on themselves to reach the outcome that the external people want. You imagine the collective fans of a high profile team, like that this sort of persona feels that way, and they internalize it because they think it's all on them. They think it's all their responsibility, and that if they don't do what they know that they need to do, then the result will be that they don't get the results that they want. So the purpose of the injury is to remove that pressure when it all gets too much, when they haven't got the support, when they haven't got the strategies, when they don't know the steps to take to change those subconscious beliefs and patternings that have them feeling like it's all on their shoulders, that it's all up to them to stand on their own 2 feet and make it happen. So if you know someone like this and you've seen it, and they keep having these patterns of having these pressure release injuries, but they also know that they want to continue to perform at that level, but just without the pressure, and get them in touch with me so I can help them to change that belief, to change the trajectory of their future performances, and of course, the trajectory of the performances of all of those teams that they're involved in. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.